Hi, everyone. I'm Lexi, Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Uplisting, and I am super excited to be joined here today by Christina. Sorry, I realized I didn't have this presentation up. Here we go. Okay, great. Here we are. Hi, Christina. Thanks so much for being here today.
Hey, Lexi. I'm excited to be here. I'm Christina. I manage partnerships here at Turno. I'm super excited to be talking to everyone.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so over the next 30 minutes or so, Christina and I will be taking you through what the guest experience is and why it matters for hosts of all sizes, and also some practical automation tips for pre arrival and the arrival journey to make it seamless and easy. And finally, we'll jump into practical tips for automating arguably the most crucial part of the guest experience, which is the turnover with Christina and Turno. We'll also be saving a few minutes at the end for some questions, so feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A as we go along, and then we'll hit those at the end. So let's get into it. All right, so first we're going to talk about what the guest experience even is and why it matters for hosts and property managers. So, what is the guest experience? It is the complete journey of a guest interaction with your vacation rental, from browsing your listing to checking out from their stay. So, it includes everything from the ease of the booking to the quality of their stay. And the five key components of it are the booking process, communication, arrival and check in, comfort and amenities, and departure and checkout. And why does it even matter? It's because it directly impacts your bottom line. The best guest experiences translate to five-star reviews. And the more five-star reviews a property has, the higher nightly rates it can command without negatively impacting occupancy because we know guests are willing to pay more for higher quality stays. On top of that, great guest experiences can also lead to repeat guests and referrals because happy guests are more likely to come back and also tell others about their stay. So you'll spot the impact of great guest experiences in your five-star reviews, really enthusiastic recommendations, and repeat bookings. And more specifically, it shows up in your occupancy rates, your ability to charge premium nightly rates, and even your superhost status on Airbnb. So now that we know how crucial the guest experience is for your bottom line, let's dig into some practical automation tips for pre-arrival and arrival. So, first is the booking process, which is where the guest experience begins. So, a listing that has clear photos, really accurate descriptions, and transparent pricing is what helps guests feel really confident in their choice when they're selecting their stay. And on top of that, quick and friendly messages and responses to questions can help build trust from the beginning. So, you can even set up an Airbnb pre booking message to show guests that you're available to meet their needs before they're even booked. An Airbnb pre-booking message is an automated response that's sent to guests as soon as they send a booking request through the instant book feature. It's designed for hosts to engage right away with guests. Because it's pre-booking, it has to be set up in Airbnb. Uplisting also has a lot of automation features, which we'll get to in a minute, but they're only able to be used post-booking. So in order to set a pre-booking message, you'll need to go to Airbnb, find your listings on your Airbnb host page, select the one you want to modify, go to policy and rules or booking settings. It's changed a little bit. Find the instant book section, click edit, and then you should see the ability to add or edit your pre-booking message there. So after a guest books, you can use Uplisting's automated guest messaging to keep guests in the loop with proactive updates and quick responses. You should be sharing the check-in details early, send a welcome message when they arrive, and even check in on the morning of their first night to ensure everything's going smoothly. Over to the right here is an example of an automated messaging flow that can be set up in Uplisting. And you do that by visiting the Outbound tab, where you'll find lots of templates that you can personalize, or you can even create your own templates from scratch and can use them at all parts of your guest's post booking journey. In addition to creating a full flow like this, you can also set up automated messaging tags for one off guest messages during their stay. So, for example, if a guest messages you, "What's the Wi Fi password?" you can have a message tag set up for Wi Fi so that you automatically respond to them with the password without you even having to lift a finger. So, good communication is incredibly important to the guest experience because it helps prevent issues before it happens and also shows guests that you really care about their experience and their stay at your property. And the goal during arrival and check in is really to make check in as easy as humanly possible. And you do this by providing detailed step by step instructions at least 24 hours before arrival. Whether you're using a smart lock, a lockbox, or even greeting them in person, you should include photos of the parking area, the entrance, and any tricky spots along the way. You should also consider maybe sending a backup access method just in case, and make sure that the outdoor and entryway lights are working because there's truly nothing worse than a guest fumbling with their keys in the dark. You should maybe add a quick guide for essential items like Wi-Fi passwords, thermostat controls, and TV remotes right by the door so guests can settle in really comfortably from the moment they arrive. And to even take it one step further for the guest experience, you can consider adding some personal touches like local recommendations for restaurants or kid-friendly activities, a local gift basket, or even adding concierge services for things like spa bookings or something more luxurious. So at this point in our guest journey, I'm going to turn it over to Christina to take us through one of the most crucial parts of the experience, the turnover, and how Turno's awesome, incredibly powerful features can make this process as seamless and easy as possible. So take it away, Christina.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to dive into operational excellence and how that ultimately is going to help with automation. When it comes to operations as a whole, at minimum, every host really should be automatically scheduling their turnovers or even assigning them to cleaners. And this is going to help with supporting reducing things such as missed turnovers, or I know inside of uplisting, it's called a changeover, chaos in the coordination of the schedules of your cleaners. We actually have a really great stat here from data that we pulled from our current hosts that weren't doing it, that on average they were spending anywhere from 4 to 5 hours a week manually scheduling and coordinating with their cleaners rather than just automating that process. Reduce communication between the host and the cleaner. This is going to free up some time, allowing you to focus on other areas of your business, such as maybe you want to focus on like the marketing tactics or improving the overall guest experience, or even communicating with potential new owners and acquiring new business. And then also it's going to help support in reducing the possibility of an upside guest, which can lead to negative reviews, partial refunds, cancellation of a property, or even changing of a unit or putting them in a hotel unit, which is going to cost out of pocket for you as well. The next step in leveling up your operations is going to be through just achieving automation. So this is where Turno can come in through our partnership with Uplisting and really support your business by implementing these operational excellence practices. You can go to the next one. Thank you. So what is operational excellence and what is it going to help solve for? There's 5 parts to this that we'll go over. The first one is enhanced efficiency. We've consulted with hosts and companies that are still manually creating schedules. They're texting their cleaners with units that need to be turned, and they're trying to remember to pay cleaners for each one of these units that have been turned. And they're even going back through previous forms of communication to see the issues that the unit had and then trying to report those to owners to get items replaced. It's causing room for human error. It's causing room for miscleans, poor time management, and all of this can be used to scaling the business more effectively once we have those processes in place. The next one is increased profitability. If you can actually lower your costs with improving your quality, then your margins and profits are just naturally going to be better, which is a win-win. And when you start to think about how can I simplify things and work smarter, I actually encourage you to speak with your team, ask them what's taking them the most time to accomplish on their day-to-day tasks, what feels repetitive, and then what areas do they recommend for improvements. This can also just help improve company morale and job satisfaction. The third one is improved quality. When you put simple processes in place, like checklists for each property, you're not just improving the quality of the stay, you're also creating consistency across your business. And that consistency actually makes life a lot easier for your team. And a good example of this is fewer cleaning inspections or second cleans because something was missed in the first initial clean. Not everyone has the luxury of doing a walkthrough after the initial clean right before a guest checks in. So if there's no system in place, you're going to be taking a very big risk. One missed detail can actually lead to a negative review, or worse, dropping everything mid-reservation to fix an issue ASAP. So really dialing in your processes is going to result in fewer fires to put out, which will make some happy guests at the end of the day. These last two, this next one actually is probably my favorite subject. It's competitive advantage. When we hear that, we usually think, how do I stand out and get more bookings? And that is a part of it. Putting strong operational processes in place really is going to help you rise above the competition. But there's actually another point I like us to consider, and that is operational excellence doesn't just help the day-to-day, it sets up for long-term growth. So when you have the right systems in place and those systems are tight, you're in a better position to say yes to new owner leads that are coming in, the ability to take on more properties, even acquire local businesses around you that are competing, whether it's small or big. And then even the possibility of selling your own one day at a much higher value because you have systems in place rather than those manual processes. And so I know that sounds more long-term thinking, but growth and scalability really should be in the back of our minds at all times. And once automation is in place, it's easier to copy and paste that model and then say yes to new opportunities. This last one, customer satisfaction, I'm touching it on every single point, but I think it does just deserve its own bubble. Reviews left by past guests really do have a huge impact on whether the next guest decides to book. Lexi talked about it in her slides as well. These are often the deal breaker for guests if they're not high enough. So that's why 36% of leisure travelers book based on reviews. And another really great statistic to kind of think about is 20% of guests choose vacation rentals over hotels because of the cleanliness standard that we offer in our industry. So delivering a great experience overall is just going to help you drive reservations, but also give that 5-star review. So through our partnership with Uplisting, Turno has smart scheduling that makes sure no turnover is going to get missed. Having a primary cleaner for each one of your properties is standard. But adding backup cleaners is going to help you in terms of protecting you in situations like possible no-shows from your team. Maybe they're going to have a sick day, emergencies like they're on the way to work and they had a flat tire. Even during peak season, this is a big one, is during that peak season, not having enough bandwidth to get to all the requests that are needed. So we really want to make sure that we're never missing a clean, and your primary cleaner can actually accept or reject a project within Turno, which will then automatically notify the backup cleaner you have assigned to that property. If that cleaner also rejects, it can fall to a plan C cleaner for an absolute like last resort. So if you do need any additional assistance, which is very unlikely, you can actually give us a call and we'll help find a cleaner for you to make sure that unit doesn't go missed. And the visuals that you're seeing on the screen is actually a visual of the team of cleaners you can have within Turno, adding them as primary cleaners or backup cleaners to specific properties. And then even on the right-hand side, that image is actually finding new cleaners in your market. That's a really big issue in our industry, is just finding true vetted experienced cleaners. And we provide that database for you with reviews of hosts who are already on Turno who have utilized those cleaners. And we even bring in their ratings via Airbnb as we attach the cleaners to the units that receive different reviews. So ultimately, this is just going to help you make sure we don't miss anything moving forward. Cool. So these are going to be some must-have features that are really going to help just bring in structure to your operations and keep turnovers consistent and high quality, which is crucial. So the first point is payments automation. Every payment that is manually being processed through any sort of banking application, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, anything you can think of, we see on average that takes anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes per transaction to pay out a cleaner. We've also seen a lot of hosts miss payments to their cleaners, and instead of the monthly budgeted expense, several months later pass by and then they're having to do a bulk sum payout, which they weren't planning for. Additionally, for US listeners, if you automate your payments for your cleaners inside of Turno, we will provide cleaners with 1099s. If you are using a third-party banking app, they are now subject to the IRS. You can run into issues with taxes that you didn't plan on. These different platforms, unless you're using like a business version of them, do not automatically handle this kind of tax reporting. It's still going to be on you, and this can cause different issues like back taxes, penalties, additional interest, and then possibility of getting flagged for possible audits. At this time, we are working on supporting hosts in Europe with the right financial reporting documentation per country that is required. So if there is a specific document that you are needing for your business, you can reach out to us, see if we already have it. And if we don't, just provide us with some examples, as we're very happy to build it for you. Next point is photo checklist. This can really help your team just make sure that the property looks exactly the way your online listing appears, because that is a first impression, giving you a 5-star versus anything lower. Your team can actually upload images to every single point of the checklist. You can make it mandatory, you can make it optional. You can also leave an image with the expectation of the checklist item for them to review when completing said task. All of our images are time-stamped, which is great because this can protect you from disputes you might receive from guests claiming, we don't like these guests, this is awful, but we do have some guests who claim something wasn't cleaned or something wasn't resolved. You now have that evidence to support your claim with the fact that it was actually completed. Inventory management, it's a pretty obvious one, but I still like to touch on it just because we really need to be tracking everything within our properties, whether it's an estimation amount or a fixed amount. An estimation amount being like, I want the dish soap inside of the sink on the dispenser to be no less than half, or the number of towels needed in a restroom at all times. So applying these practices just to ensure that your guests are never left without something that is expected as a minimum inside of a property. In-app chat is the last one. Having a place to communicate, report problems, streamline everything, and just receive real-time updates can really just help reduce overall errors or wondering if something was communicated or resolved. Many times we'll see hosts are using email, text, WhatsApp, phone calls. I've seen even like Facebook Messenger in terms of communicating, and then it's leaving the question of, I thought this was already resolved. Where did I send that message? It just causes like pure chaos, just leaving room for error within your team. And so just streamlining all of that can just really limit overall confusion and improve satisfaction. So all of these features that I've mentioned today are actually features that you have accessible through our integration with Uplisting.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Christina. So this marks the end of our presentation. So if you'd like to get started with Turno, we actually have a special offer for Uplisting customers where Turno is completely free, saving you $10 per property per month, which is incredible, an incredible deal. So you can visit our support site and either search for Turno in the search bar or look for it under our integrations section to find the getting started guide on how to get set up with Turno and uplisting. And you can also be on the lookout for a follow-up email with this webinar recording as well. So now we will open it up to any questions. And I think I saw a few trickling in the chat. Okay, so one question from Ben here. How do you maintain consistency in cleans if the cleaner could be different every time? So I think you mentioned a little bit about the reviews and stuff, but maybe let's just hit on that again.
Yeah, that's a good question, Ben. So they don't have to be different every time. Once you find a cleaner that you really like inside of Turno, you're actually able to add them permanently to your team, making them a primary cleaner, backup cleaner. It's completely up to you. But the goal is find a cleaner that you like inside of Turno that are giving you those 5-star reviews and then keep them permanently on your team.
Awesome. Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a new cleaner every time. You should be looking for a primary.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Thank you. All right. And then I think this is one about inventory management as well, also from Ben. How do you maintain consistency in linens, towels, cleaning supplies, etc., if the cleaner could be different every time? So I think you talked a little bit about inventory management before, but maybe another deep dive on how that's actually executed.
Yeah. So for each one of your properties, as you're configuring them, you can add all those checklists and the rules that you have for inventory management. And so ultimately the goal is to have a fixed cleaner once you look through our database of cleaners. Um, so those cleaners are going to have a complete view of your property and all the expectations that you have with them. We really do encourage you to actually have your own supplies in terms of like maybe additional towels or bed linens, cleaning supplies. Our cleaners can actually come prepared and bring those for you instead if you would prefer. But ultimately, you're communicating those things before the cleaners arrives, and Turner makes it very easy to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I have one from Hamish. Are the cleaning tasks from Turno shown in the calendar? And I think this might be specific to the uplisting calendar.
Oh, okay. Um, it doesn't push back into up listing at this time, although we are looking at enhancing the current integration even more. But how it works right now is both the host inside of Turno has their own application, and then cleaners have their own application. So they're able to see all of the cleaning tasks on their end and complete those for you. But that is a really great feature that we'll kind of jot down as we're reviewing this actually in Q4.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Another question, is there a charge for the payment to the cleaner? Seems like maybe is there a fee or something?
Yes, we charge 1.9% or up to 3%. It just depends if you're doing credit card is going to be a higher fee versus just doing a direct bank transfer instead.
Great. Thank you. Okay, another one from Priscilla. Is Turno very active in the UK, particularly Manchester and Stoke area?
Great question. We are, especially Manchester. We have a great supply and demand for our cleaner marketplace if you're looking for a new cleaner. But UK is probably one of our top 3 markets. So, yes.
Great. All right. And then I have one last one from Scott. What payment platforms are supported by Turno and are monthly salaries supported?
That is a good question. In terms of payment platforms, let me grab your email so I can get you the full list and I can follow up with you. And then I am not actually sure about monthly salaries, but I know our team is. So I will get back to you, Scott, on that later today.
Great. Sounds good. And then I just had one more pop in. Is there a tutorial for using Turno?
Yeah. So as Lexi mentioned, you actually get a free subscription with Turno, which is really great if you're just wanting to try it out. Also, your first property is free. If you wanted to do a free trial as well, you definitely could. But we have a sales team that is happy to do demos for you, as well as our CS team if you're a current user and you wanted to see additional features and functionality. But we're happy to walk through everything with you and even support you in setting up your account, which takes less than 5 minutes.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Well, that is it for our questions. So I think we can end the webinar here. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, and we will, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to either Christina or I. And yeah, we'd be happy to help you get all set up. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.